Hey guys, today's title of this video, talking about narcissism, borderline personality disorder, individuals or women today, is called the Sirens Song. And we all pretty much know this folklore of the Sirens Song. Pretty much what ends up happening, long story short, is that men who are on their ships at sea and haven't been in contact with women for so long, it could be months, days, years, whatever the case may be, and they feel in the folklore, they hear this beautiful song. They go towards that song, not knowing that they are heading to their deaths. Okay, so knowing that they go into this area, they go into this layer, and they are drawn. It gets louder. The music gets louder. It's much more. What's the word I'm looking for? What's not cohesive? What's the word? Instinctual. I guess not instinctual, but you know what I'm saying. Like it's like faint, and then gets louder and clearer at times. I forget the word I was going to use. And eventually, they end up in the siren's lair. Beautiful mermaids, half fish, half woman. But they don't see the other fish part. They only see the woman side. So these men are enticed by these women. They're enticed by their beauty, by their voice. But these women, half fish, half woman, are there to eat them. And that's what ends up happening. And that's what we have to understand when they share about narcissistic women. Their beauty only goes so far on the outside. And it's about what goes on the inside that counts. But so many people are prone to really going into it on a surface level when it comes to relationships, especially men. A lot of guy friends who are talking about their marriages to me. I don't ever ask them to go into their marriages. I just talk to them and see what they're up to. But somehow I get men to open up to me, which I never really try to. So, and I've talked to and heard their stories, and hearing them out particularly, it really opened my eyes to the facts of what they were going through in their marriages, and try to help them put things into perspective. But at the same time, I had to understand, us women, what we can actually do to our men without realizing it. That we end up taking the men in our lives for granted. See, the thing with narcissistic women particularly, they only take, they don't really give. They split in energy, and they show their good side to one person, but show another side to another person. And I've grown up in an environment where I have narcissistic parents. My dad is a bit of a narcissist, but he's more of a codependent. So he gives more than he takes he gives more than he takes. And my mother is more of a narcissist. So understand how codependent men get into relationships with narcissistic women. And I was talking to my friend like this. I was talking to a friend of mine. I don't know, you got into a codependent relationship with your wife. I straight up said it to him. I was like, yeah, you did. The nature of your narcissistic wife, maybe I don't know his wife completely, but the way you're describing the situation, it kind of reminds me of what I've been through. Understand the nature of how your wife, in some ways, maybe it's not your wife. Maybe it's you who's a narcissist, and your wife may be the codependent. If I had to put the labels on correctly. But a lot of times with these types of people, you have to understand, especially women, that the men and women both have, we all gender excluded, but we all have this nature in our brains where we have this delusional mindset on how relationships ought to be. And because we have this delusional sense of relationships, romanticizing it and all that not being realistic, we get caught up into the romanticizing part where we may become love addicts. I had to be very honest about this too. I was like looking at this, and I was like thinking about how women particularly attract men, find her irresistible, or finding out these traits that she has are great at first, but then afterwards she fucking changes, and then you're like thinking to like, who the fuck did I marry? It's like, what the fuck? It's because you attracted yourself to the persons on the outer core. You don't know who the person is completely in the inner core. They haven't exposed that to you yet. they still kept you entrapped into what they want to show you until you got married and started realizing these patterns of behavior that really showed who they really are down the road. I mean, we all have both sides of our personalities, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, these types of women will entice the men to get married. Sometimes it's for security reasons, and maybe it is somewhat for love, but it's about really understanding the nature of why these women get with these types of men. And why these men tend to put themselves in that situation. There's a lot of karmic lessons to learn from all of this too. But that's something I had to really understand. When it came to relationships, I was like thinking to myself, oh my God, we women do that. Like narcissistic women or narcissistic, tend to do this a lot to their men because the fact that they are insecure deep within, they lack security with themselves, so they have to make themselves look more outwardly confident. But in the end, their insecurities are what gets to them the most. The reason why a lot of these women are very insecure is because the fact that they haven't gotten their own needs met by themselves. So in the outwardly, they may look like they're great and wonderful and all that, but deep inside, they're missing something. And they cannot be honest with themselves about their own actions. They can't be honest about how they treat people. These people are basically emotionless, unempathetic individuals. See, my mother would try to push me in a position where I am I don't have to be. I don't mind helping people. That's one thing, but it's about being used by others. It's like when my parents took 16 grand of insurance check and used it to buy kitchen appliances and grill. I'm like, my mom was trying to get money to give from all of my paycheck to her. I'm like, no, that's entitlement, and you're not getting any of my money. You already took 16 grand. What else do you want from me? It's like she's trying to drain my money out of my account so she can get it and use it for herself. And she's like, oh, why don't you just give it to Diane? And I'm like, no, I know what you can do. You can tell Diane to give that money to you. No. I know how these taxes work. I know my mother. She's very manipulative and conniving and guilt-stripping woman. She doesn't understand the nature of boundaries. And the more boundaries I set, the more honest I became. I realized she just became worse down the road with me. But it's really understanding the nature of these types of women, what women will do. And they will drain you to the core, to the point where you're exhausted. Like the Siren Song, they entice you. They may sound very, irresistible at first. This is how my parents got married within a year without really knowing each other. No, these things do take time to build at times, relationship-wise. And understanding this, you have to understand the nature of the individual, what their motives are a lot of times. And a lot of these people don't want to see the motives. They just want to see, what they want to see. And like I said, we all have this delusional mindset where we want to see love differently, but we don't really put things into perspective what love is like. So therefore, we end up creating this havoc in a relationship where it creates more problems than it helps to build together, So that's something I had to be very honest about. And realizing this with the sirens, when you're dealing with narcissistic women, you have to be very, you have to really set better boundaries. These women like to blame more than take responsibility for their own actions. And if they do take responsibility for their own actions because they were caught and found out, and because they were caught and found out, they want to be able to, they will try to admit to it, but it's like they don't want to admit to it, if that makes sense. It's very, very manipulative. That, yeah, I've done it, but it's like if they say, oh yeah, I've done it, but it's because of this, this, and this. They never take ownership and say, yeah, I've done it, and end the story. They have to add but, or because, and, or whatever they have to add on to that sentence. It's just like, why can't you just admit that you did it instead of trying to push blame on someone else? It's like, for example, if my mom would get upset with something and she would rage like no other if she don't get to do what she wants in the end. It's like, I wouldn't get angry. Yeah, I did get angry, but if you did what I told you, I wouldn't get angry. I'm like, no, you can still not get angry and still get what you want in the end. But knowing that you got angry and raging, this ends up happening. No. That's kind of like that. This is what I had to deal with and grow up with. And they show intimidation and fear because they love that. My dad did the same thing to me too. They like to use intimidation and fear to show the inadequacy they really actually feel underneath the exterior that they show. And yet the interior is so messed up. It's so fucked up to the point I'm looking at it like, you have fucking problems that you are not dealing with. I had to understand that. Like, I had to understand my mother was a narcissist. My dad's a codependent. In many cases, enabling my mother's behaviors to get what she wants in the end, and it makes you feel like you can't get what you need. And so what you end up doing is trying to fight for your own rights, but instead of fighting for your own rights, you end up getting a double whammy where what I had to do is just, it's like, I can't go on like this anymore. It drives me crazy. It's kind of like now for me, I'm trying to get my parents to just give me their old car that they have in the garage, and so my mom can start driving a new car, but she doesn't do that. And she's like saying, well, you need to get the, what is it? You have to get the what is it, insurance first, and then we get the car. No, you have to get the car first and then the insurance. I need the title into the deed of that car if I should get the insurance. That doesn't work the way you think it's going to work in the end. And when I tried to confront this situation, all she did was just shrug it off. She's like, that's not how it works. I'm like, yes, it is. I'm not that stupid. See, the thing is, narcissists like to make you stupid. They make you feel and sound like you're stupid, yet you don't know what you're talking about. When you show them research and show them facts, they say, oh, these facts are wrong. They would deny the facts. This is what they do. Narcissistic people will do that. Narcissistic women will do that often in case, because they don't want to be wrong. They want to show that they're superior over you, and they want to show that they are right. It doesn't work the way you think it's going to work. Like, my sister has this problem too. I told my sister, like, I told you to buy new trash cans with the lid on it so your dog doesn't go upstairs and take your tampons and pads or whatever the case may be. But she blamed her dog for it. Like, that's not your dog's fault. That's your fault. Because the fact that the dog doesn't know any better, you left the trash can out, didn't have a lid, you decided to do it. And she looked at me like, you know what to say, because she knows I was right. And that's what they do. These types of women are very conniving. Codependent men attract narcissistic women. That doesn't mean they're always no. But my mom and my sister are very, like, I had to unravel a lot of work. So I am more towards codependency than narcissistic now, but it's just know the fact that I'm still working through all these bullshit. But that's one thing I understand. Narcissistic, like, women will do that. They will find ways to escape responsibility for their own action. And I told my sister, I did tell you this a long time ago. You told me that you're never going to take your dog upstairs. It's bullshit. That was a lie, and look what ended up happening. I even told Jake, my brother-in-law, was with us at the time. We were all sitting at the kitchen table, and I said, you decided to do that. You didn't listen, look what ended up happening. And Jake knew, like, yeah, I was there, wasn't I? Yeah, you were. And so he was like, yeah. So now we had to change everything around. I'm like, yeah, you do. At least Jake was much more reasonable. He's a reasonable guy. He's great. He's wonderful. My sister, not so much, because she has to be right all the time. I'm like, yeah, this is what we end up having. You're not going to be always right. But you have to understand that it doesn't really make my sister 100% narcissistic, but she does have traits of where she thinks she's better than everybody else. I'm like, yeah, no. This is why I never want to be in a wedding. And then she got all upset with me on that one. That's a different story. Sorry, I'm going off topic. But yeah, we had to be very honest about these things. You know, the nature of narcissists are very conniving. They will make you feel like you are less than what you are. They will make you feel as if men are incompetent in many cases. I don't know what goes on, you know, what's happening, but a lot of times I also see men who are very conniving as well. And I'm like very, very wary about who to trust. When I do trust someone, don't make me fucking regret it. And I put that down real fast with some people. Like, I don't want to regret that. I want to trust you. But if you ever lie, twist things around, manipulate, this is going to end. Because I don't tolerate it. And I'm not going to accept it, because I've been through that multiple times with people in my life. So that's something I have to be very honest about and really see the situation. I'm like, so just be honest with me. I'll be honest with you, best as I can. And this is why you have to be very, very careful who to trust, because it's going to be a lot of people who are going to do that. And this is why a lot of people who have gone through narcissistic abuse feel as if they put a lot of trust in the wrong people, and then mistrust, and then trust the wrong people, but then mistrust the right people in their lives. This is because it's a confusing aspect of what narcissism is like. This is why you have to be very careful when you get into relationships, especially marriage, because these people can be quite irresistible, and these people are, you know, especially I feel bad for the men, that the men get a lot of blame, and backlashes because of the fact that the women are not taking responsibility for their own actions in life. So it's about honest approach here. How to honestly approach the situation. And if you are with a narcissistic woman and you can't seem to get yourself out, the best way to go about it is setting firm, grounded boundaries. When you put those boundaries in, you have a better chance to have the healthy relationship that you really want with your wife. Set those boundaries, set things clear, understand this, you're not going to tolerate any more of the bullshit. Because I'm living with my folks right now, and I feel like it's more of a marriage relationship than actually parent-adult-child relationship with respect. It's just more the fact that I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not tolerating this anymore. I will not tolerate you pushing me around. I'm not going to tolerate you cornering me. I am not going to tolerate how you treat me anymore. It's not going to work with me. You want respect? Show respect back. If you're going to hit me, I will hit back. Don't even go there. And my mom knows this too. She is so prone to try to hitting people to get what she wants. She does it with me all the time. Like, I will hit you back. Don't touch me. We're both adults now. Don't touch me. And then if she does hit me and then I hit her back, she'll play the victim. It's a conniving way to get what she wants. And she thinks it's always going to work for her. It's not. And these people do not improve with age either. Unless they're willing to show the error of their ways and really change it. I had to unravel this. I learned a lot of these bad behaviors from the people I've grown up with. They don't show real remorse. Fake remorse is how they get away with things. I know because I've done it myself countless of times in my childhood. And I realized that even though it's like every time I did show remorse that was really authentic, they say, oh, you're faking it. Yeah, that's not real remorse. And this is a constant battle. Like, I just did not know what to do. I was confused as a child, as it is. I had parents who were mentally unstable, and I felt like I was going crazy half the time because I did not know how to show, authenticity. Because my behaviors are not going to change overnight. It takes time. And most people who are normal in relationships and with their children, they will show empathy. They will show some understanding. I never got that. I felt like it was a military background, a military household. Like, everything had to go by the book, to the point where I was exhausted, to the point where I felt like I wasn't accepted for who I am. And that's not love. That's control and power and control. And this is what narcissists do. They need power and control to make you feel like you are incompetent in the end. That's something I had to learn. And I told myself I would never, ever do this to my son. Ever. So, but it's just what they do. And I had to learn. I had to understand this. This is what my parents did to me. And this is what they ended up creating for me. And I had to unravel all of this until I get to that point where I'm okay. So anyways, if you do want to get in contact with me and want to get some more additional help, you can do that. My website link is down below. Understand this, I do have certain time slots available because I do have a 4-year-old I still have to look at after. So please take the time, schedule it out. My email is down below. Read the terms and conditions on what I can and cannot do. Understand that I do have very limits. So understand that I do charge a small fee because of the fact that I do have a kid and I do need to raise him as well. So please do so. I hope this video helps. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Have a great day, guys.